All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. My name is Judson Powell. All right, want to talk about some people that came in, the notorious inboxers. Okay, and I just want to address these things because when people got a problem, then you should try to help them out with trying to fix their problem. Maybe. But anyway, so I got two different things. So the first thing is I had somebody inboxing me about what the whole Deion Sanders situation, when he's bringing it up, but there were no historically black college or university players selected in the NFL draft. So I'm trying to figure out how there's not one. You mean to tell me out of all the black colleges and universities, there's not one person in the entire country that's able to play at the professional level and be drafted in the draft? Which and see, the thing that people don't realize is that this is about money. Because if you get drafted, then of course they got to pay you according to the current salary basis and all that kind of stuff. So, because that's what guys always do. Well, I want to be paid more than the highest paid player at my position, or I want to be paid equally to the highest paid player at my position. But if you don't get drafted, then you don't have that leverage. See, undrafted players or players that go in the high rounds, or or the lower rounds, I should say the lower rounds, they don't have as much negotiating power. So they're going in from a point of weakness instead of a point of strength. And so that's why this is very important, because what it does is it allows for the bigger schools, of course, they're going to get more recruits. And HBCU are not going to get recruits. Why? Because these people want to go where they're going to make the most money. And all of these new things, these newfangled rules and everything about transferring and all this kind of stuff, it's basically is making college football a professional football league, which it probably should be anyway. Players should get, in my humble opinion, players at the college level should get paid, and more than just a scholarship. Sometimes, they don't give you enough money. They'll give you enough money to pay for your classes or whatever, but then they don't give you enough money to live, especially if you're not like one of the top recruits on a certain team. So you gotta realize that all of this stuff is all, and who's getting the money? The college presidents, the coaches, the athletic director, and in certain cases even boosters. Right? They're getting money under the table because they're not being investigated. But let a player take money or get accused of taking money or whatever, then all of a sudden then it's a problem. People try to the case I could come up with right off the top of my head, it would be Reggie Bush from USC, right? And they said, oh, he took money and blah 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 blah. But why shouldn't he take money? And I don't see why it's a problem with guys taking money. Because the whole thing is based on money. Everybody get money except the players, the people that's putting their life and their limbs online for these colleges and universities. And then they'll throw them away just like they, and the same thing is true in professional football. Professional football contracts, unless you negotiate it, are not guaranteed. Unless it's pre-negotiated, and then 9 times out of 10, the team will not give you a 100% guaranteed contract. So this is important. It's not, and he says, well, so some guy comes in, he says that's because all the HBCU players are crap or they suck. I think that was the word he used. They suck. And I'm trying to explain to him that, look, HBCUs have an equal number of players in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, as do larger universities that are out there. And so what it comes down to, control. See, because they don't want these players to go to HBCUs. Why not? Because HBCUs would dominate the league. And they don't want black folks dominating the league. That's why I kept saying, look, this is racially motivated. This whole is systemic racism. You go to the big school, you get the big contract, you get the extra money, blah 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 blah. You get the endorsement deals, you get this, that, and the other thing, and they don't want black colleges and universities controlling this paradigm. That's the problem. And then the other thing I tried to explain to him is that most HBCUs were founded by white folks. And they were the money that they had to donate or whatever, they donated money, or I think it was called land grants at the time, but they basically made an endowment to educate African Americans, at historically black colleges and universities. So, for example, okay, I went to Hampton Institute when I first went there, but Hampton University, and it was basically funded by white folks. The first president was a white man. So Samuel Chapman Armstrong, I think that's his whole name. Okay, so you see what I'm saying? So all of these Howard, FAMU, all of the what we call the Black Ivy League, the North Carolina A&T. I'm trying to think of all these universities, but North Carolina A&T, Tuskegee, all of these colleges, Morehouse and Spelman, they were all founded and endowed. The endowments were created by white folks to educate black folks. So to say that they don't have no money and they suck, that's stupid. It really is. It has an extra level. So now then I go, so I just wanted to explain that. So then I go to my inbox, and somebody is because I posted this picture of this these 3 kids or 4 kids, and they got on T-shirts and it says, "Please don't kill us." And so I get a couple of people that, that's why we're weak. We need to just be militant, bear arms against the sea of trouble, and by thus opposing in them, to die perchance to sleep. Stop quoting Shakespeare. But I'm just trying to say, y'all got to understand that there is no revolution. There's never going to be a revolution because there are too many, everybody's too mixed up. I posted a picture of my my great grandmother, and she's a white woman. So can I change my lineage, or can I change my heritage? And then I know that that's on my mother's side of the family. And then I know on my father's side of the family, we come from Wales. We're Welsh. That's our white lineage. That's our European lineage. And most people have one, no matter if they want to say so or not, or if they know or not, whatever, but you got African and you got European somewhere in you. And it's been discovered. Look at Henry Louis Gates on the thing on PBS. And they start finding people's, lineage and stuff like that. They, when you get right down to it, we're all mixed up. We're literally all mixed up. So the whole thing is freedom, or the ability to be able to do what you want to do without being hindered by somebody else. So I always say that all supremacy is wrong. Black supremacy is just as wrong as white supremacy. So what are we going to do? We're going to take them and enslave them? Because they, I mean, they ain't going to stand by and just allow for it. That's why they got more guns than there are people. So you think they just going to sit there and allow that to happen? So you gotta have a violent, non-violent approach. It's like, yeah, okay, if they do something to your family, yeah, you should, defend your family. But if they do something, if they do something, what you gonna do? And then this guy was talking all big and bad. I'm like, look, man, George Zimmerman, me and my wife joke about this all the time because, people be talking about how militant they are, but George Zimmerman is still walking the streets. The Trayvon Martin's killer, he's still walking the streets. In fact, he does, events where he literally sells Skittles and hoodies and everything else, and he's making money off of Trayvon Martin's death, the fact that he killed him. And there are sick people in the world that are still buying that stuff. These police officers who commit heinous acts of police brutality and murder people and stuff like that. These people are they send them money. They got their they don't care because their whole life is set up. Because you got people out there that support that. That stuff. It's ridiculous. Set up a GoFundMe and all that kind of stuff for what? For these crooked police officers. You got police unions. Look, let me tell you something. That's what's affecting the situation in Minnesota. The police unions are affecting that situation. Derek Chauvin is seeking a new trial. And his lawyer was smarter than we thought he was. Why? Because he kept making references and kept filing motions so that he would have something to appeal on. See, because appeals are always based upon what happened at the trial level. And there has to be some error, in order for the appeals court to grant that, that appeal. So, and that's why I kept saying, y'all, the fix is in. The fix is in. So now everybody thinks they, and I kept saying, look, don't celebrate yet, because, it ain't over. Everybody walking around, oh, justice has been served. No, justice has not been served. Justice has not been served, and what has that done? That's delayed his sentencing and everything else. It's all a big game, but we don't know how to play it. And right now, look, the oppressor is in court and in legislatures, and what are they doing? They passing all these voter suppression laws. They passing laws that allow, just like Texas passed a law that allow straight open carry, no permit. You can just walk around, and there's a lot of states doing that. And what is that for? It's intimidation. It's to intimidate people and make them fearful. But look, once again, Amenemhotep said what? He said, do not envy your oppressors and take none of their ways. Why? Because that's not in our nature. That's not our nature. That's why we have yet to have a really militant coup against anybody in the country. And whenever we try to defend ourselves and that's another thing that my dude in the inbox, he referenced the Black Panthers, but the Black Panthers were not an organization set up, to overthrow the government. They were set up to protect the people in our neighborhoods, to protect our culture, and to protect our children from police brutality. not to start a war. Go back and read. I'm just telling you, those are the books I read. I don't know, my daddy made me read all that stuff. And the books I read didn't say nothing about, no matter who it was, there was nothing about starting some military coup. Anyway, fast 15 minutes is up. I love you.